So hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to go ahead and start to complete this worksheet here called Color Pencil Application. In this worksheet, we are going to be looking at this reference image over here in black and white on the left, and we are trying to recreate it over here on the right in color. Now we are applying some of our new techniques that we're learning in Color Pencil, including shading, blending, and burnishing. If we take a look at our Color Pencil tests from last lesson, we really were focusing on, repeating what we know based on value over here in Color Pencil. And then what's new is creating that blended and burnished gradient between two different colors. If we take a look at our reference, we have those gradients, those areas of gradient on the sphere itself, in the background, and on the table. That's what I call this area down here. The foreground is the table. And I'm looking for you to assign a color, a hue to each of these areas, and then find that value scale, not just with one color, but with multiple colors. So there's a couple things going on here. There's no right or wrong colors to choose. You can choose your own. What I'm really looking for is that you're creating those blends, those burnished blending gradients, and you're thinking about value, you're thinking about color and those transitions. I also want to call your attention to the bottom of this worksheet here. Here is where we're going to start to test our color pencils and make choices. This is like a testing area to try out your colors, but I am looking for you to start to record your colors, both with a small swatch of color as well as the name and the number. To remind you, if I grab one of these, each Prismacolor color pencil has a name, both in English and French. Please record the English version, and the PC number on the back. That's going to help you identify, because we're going to be doing this over multiple days. You really do want to make sure you're recording your colors. We did this over here, right? We wrote down the name and the PC number, so that's not new for us, but it is a habit that I want you to get into. All right, so like I said, you can choose any color that you want, up to you, but pre-assign this. Think about what color you want your sphere to be overall. Is it a red ball? Is it an orange ball? Is it green? Decide what you want it to be. Same thing with the background back here and this foreground tabletop. Don't forget about this cast shadow. That might be the first thing that you're gonna drop in, is that cast shadow. It's the only contour line that is missing, and that's going to relate to the table. So maybe I'll make my table blue, like a light blue down to like a medium blue, and this would be a dark blue. Okay, it's not going to be gray, it's not going to be black, it's going to relate to the object maybe a little bit and to the table itself or the surface itself. All right, so pre-decide what you want each of these three things to be. I would write those things down, and then you can start to pull your color. All right, so the first thing I want you to do is to grab your pencil. You're gonna get your name up here. I'm gonna call this example for us. Get your period on there. And then, like I said, I want you to pre-decide. So I'm going to, because we're tigers, I'm gonna make our ball here, our sphere, I'm gonna make that orange. So I'm gonna write that here. My sphere is gonna be orange. And then I'm gonna make my background and my table. I'm gonna do the complement of orange, which is gonna be blue. So I'm gonna write table and background is blue. You do not have to use orange and blue. I would prefer that you choose other colors. I'm gonna walk you through that same process though, and you're gonna repeat that process with me, but choose what it is you want. So my sphere is going to be orange, and then my background and my table and the shadow are going to be blue. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop in this oval for my shadow down here. And then I'm gonna put my pencil down, and I'm gonna bring over my colored pencils. Remember, we're using our Prismacolors. I'm gonna take this up. And to remind you, we have 3 tiers of colors here. Make sure you can see them all. And then I'm just going to grab, I'm gonna start with the sphere, and I said it was gonna be orange. I'm just gonna grab all of the oranges and even the yellows that I see. So that's pretty much, maybe I'll grab that white there too. It's pretty much these. There's a yellow there. And then I have over here, I've got these. So I'm just gonna grab them all. And then when you're sharing boxes of pencils, that can be challenging. So do be mindful that you are sharing. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to recreate the values that I see. I'm definitely not going to use all of these, but I'm going to use a few, and I am going to blend. If I bring over my value scale, my 1 is going to be up here, correct? And for that, I might use a white color pencil, right? That is my 1 there. Then for my 5, I want this ball, this sphere, to feel orange. These might be a little bit too red, but this is going to be my 4s and 5s. All right, does that make sense? Let me put that there. So I got my 1s, my 4s, and 5s, and I need to represent that mid-tone 2, my 2, 3, and that's where these yellowy ones are going to come into play. So these might live, well, all of them might live somewhere in here, and my job right now is to figure out which ones blend and work well together with white and then with my darker orange tone and create that gradient, right, that value scale that's going to be represented here. All right, so I know what white is going to look like. Let's decide on my oranges first. I've got, this one's actually just called orange, so I'm going to test that out. Probably going to use that one because I really want that orange color. That's sort of living here, isn't it? And then this one's called pale vermilion. That is a little bit darker. I have carmine red. Ooh, that's too pink. I'm going to just put it right back in the box. Too pink for me. And then I have this one here. Oh, that's good. So that's kind of like a darker version. So we sort of have our ones like that. Maybe I'll pull over. Here's a different red called crimson red. Good. And I know it's not orange, but if I layer that on top of this one, it could get that darker tone. All right, so there's this half of my value scale. Now I need to work back up. So let's see this one. Yellowed orange, that looks good for here. And then I do want to just test these out. I'm trying to go lighter. That looks good. This one's called sunburst yellow. That one's even lighter, Spanish orange. And then I sort of need one that's like really bright. Maybe that, canary yellow to white. All right, so there's like a full range of values, but that's far too many pencils to fit into this little space right there. These guys I could test, but I have a feeling, yeah, see, like that's too brown. That one goes well with that, but too brown, not what I'm looking for. That's kind of nice. That sort of lives there. Too brown. All right, so here's my full range, but I want to edit this down. I definitely don't need all of these. I am gonna need maybe like these two, maybe those 3. These are all very similar. And then I definitely want the dark color and maybe like one of these. So let's try that out. Let's do this side first. So I have my dark color, that red, even though my ball is orange. Maybe that might be a good transition, or maybe I can sub out this one. Those are like very, very close. So I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm gonna have these two. I'm gonna practice with that a little bit more. But I also need to edit this. Let's see, we've got this color, maybe here. That one. I don't like that. I don't even know if I need that one. I can probably just use the white for that. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can edit that even more. Maybe I use these 3, but not all of these. Let's try that again. Maybe I can blend from this to this. Yeah, you see I can blend these 2 and I can get rid of that pencil. That one's that. Does that make sense? I'm saying a lot of that, but I'm gonna blend these 2 to get that 3rd color, so I can put that one back. And I don't even know if I need this one. I could probably blend this lightly into my white. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of this one too. So now I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I even don't need all of these. I could probably sub out a few, but I am gonna use all of these here. Okay, so let me just draw that out for you one more time down here. This is like my final test. I'm gonna say Okay, that red is going to be the deep color. Then I'm going to go into this color. Those blend well. Then I'm going to go into this color. Then to this one. And then to white. I sort of ran out of space. So that transition here is going to be my sphere. All right, so before I even start to lay those in, I am going to record them, and then we will take a look at our background colors, then we'll lay them all in. Remember, you don't have to do orange, right? This could all be different blues, different greens, different purples, up to you, but find that value scale for yourself. All right, I'm going to speed this up while I write them down. All right, so here are my colors. Here I went from bright to dark. I also put white up top. I only have 2 more sections here, and as I have them though, I am gonna fill them in nice and burnished, just in case it'll be an easy look at these colors in case I need them again. You don't have to be crazy about filling up that box. I just want you to make sure you have a swatch, so at a glance, you can tell which colors you need. All right, so those are my colors for just the sphere. Now I'm going to decide what to do, and I'm going to find that same gradient in blue, like I said, for the background and the table. My 4s and 5s, maybe 3, will live in the background, and my 1s, 2s, and 3s will be in the foreground, minus the 5 for there. All right, so let's push this to the side and let's grab all my blues and repeat that process. So in this tray, I have these 2. You can consider these blue, but I feel like they're a little too green. And then in this tray here, we have these ones. This looks black, but it's called indigo blue. I'm gonna grab that. This one, and one of these might be a purple or violet tone, but we'll see. All right, I'm gonna repeat this exact same process. I'm gonna grab that white. I'm gonna repeat this exact same process down here. I'm gonna speed it up so it goes a little bit more quickly. This is gonna be for my sphere, and this is for my table. Background. I'm gonna figure it all out. I'm going to record them, and then I'll slow down the video so we can start to talk about how to lay these colors in. All right, so here is my final color palette that I'm going to use for this worksheet here. As you know, I'm going to use these oranges, the yellows here for my highlights, for my sphere itself. And then, like I said, I'm going to use the blues for the background and the table, and I've listed them out here. I'm going to use Cloud Blue, PC 1023, Light Cerulean Blue, which is PC 904, Copenhagen Blue 906, and Indigo Blue 901. I adore Indigo Blue. I often think it's one of the black color pencils, but it's not. I like to call it my secret weapon blue because this is a really good substitute for a black in a photo. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna end up using this for my shadow here and in the shadow in the background back over here. All right, so next up, we are gonna go ahead and start to lay in our tones on our little picture here. I'm gonna start with my sphere, and I'm gonna build up. As you know, we're gonna lay in our tones from light all the way to dark. So I'm gonna start with my light tones. It's gonna be 1, and my 2, which is gonna be this sunburst yellow right here. I'm gonna add in the sunburst all over, and then I'm gonna start to build up my orange and eventually even the crimson red down here to add that final 5 kind of value there. All right, I'm gonna speed this part up too. You're gonna see me lay in layer after layer after layer. I'm gonna avoid this top area where I'm gonna put 1, or maybe I even want to start with the 1, even though I can't see it. I could lay in that area of a 1. And then I can start, test it out. Then I can start to lay in my lighter tones. I'm going to end up burnishing all of this together. Well, I want to lay that in, and then I'll use this one here, my orange, my next one down, sort of my 3. And I'm going to lay in this 3 on the bottom here and bring it up and around on that sphere. The key to color pencil is all about layers, adding more and more layers, light layers of wax, eventually burnishing this up. So now that I have my first layer all the way over, I'm going to return maybe even to this one, my white, and I might push really hard with that white, start to burnish that, go into my yellow, and add my second layer there. And even though I'm using yellow and eventually red, the midtones are going to show me what color this sphere actually is, which is going to be orange, right? So you might be a little bit confused. Like, I thought she was telling us that she's going to make her sphere orange. I am, but the lighter value of an orange might feel more yellow, and the darker value of an orange might feel more red. So now I'm going to start to drop in some of these darker values, maybe this 4 level. Don't forget about that little bit of reflected light. So that's going to be maybe my 3 orange down here. I'm going to start to add this in. And then finally, maybe a little bit of my red, just where the core shadow would be. Which is going to be right in here. And that's what's going to make this look 3D. So now that all my tones are there, that's when I go back to the first couple and I start to push a little bit harder, start to burnish that up. All right, so looks like my sphere is almost done. I could burnish this a little bit longer. There's some openness to my wax there, but I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the foreground and the background of my picture, the background here, and I've been calling this the table. You might have noticed that I adjusted my shape of my highlight here. In the beginning, I was just thinking about the highlight up top, and I really made it hug that edge too much, so I wanted to open that up here, and I had laid in all of those darker values. I'm glad I did that, especially on camera. At first I was like, oh my gosh, that's not correct, the shape's not right, and it freaked me out. But then I saw it as an opportunity to show you how to adjust that shape. So I grabbed my sand eraser. This again is for ink. It's got that extra sand in there, so it's a little bit more aggressive. And you saw that I pulled up some of that value there, and then I layered it back on top with the yellow color, right? It does stain this eraser, so I grabbed another sheet of paper and I'm sort of do you see how I would carry that over, that yellow, somewhere else? So I'm gonna smush that off so it doesn't get maybe on my blue area, okay? All right, so again, this sphere is an orange sphere, but the highlight, the one, is more of a yellow. I used the white to help me burnish that color up there, but it really was that bright yellow, and I used a red to help me get that 5 level over here. And that's just understanding color theory. We know that red and yellow make orange. So I know that I can go lighter with yellow and I can go darker with the red to achieve that full range of value. All right, so I'm going to repeat that same process with my blues for the background and the table. They're all going to be blue. I'm going to start with the background, and I only need my 5 and really my 4 back here. So my 5 is going to be indigo blue. This is the darkest blue that I chose. And my level 4 is going to be Copenhagen blue here. And I tried out, I think it was this one, I tried out that blend a little bit. I saw that the colors were very similar. And you can see this is going to be my dark tone, and then this one is going to be my lighter tone over here. So I'm going to drop in the lighter tone first. We work from light to dark, and then I'm going to drop in my darker tone. I'm going to speed that up, and then we'll take a look at the foreground. All right, so I just want to pause for a second, and I want to point out that I'm really using that indigo blue for that shadow there, and then I did layer this one a little bit to brighten that area. I'm going to keep adding the Copenhagen blue, which is my level 4 color, to continue to darken that area up a little bit, and then I might go back in with the indigo to do that area as well. I'm going to use the indigo and the Copenhagen, my 3 and 4, down here for my shadow as well. I think I'm going to erase that pencil first because the pencil's going to streak through, and I am going to just start working on the sped up video on the tabletop as well. I'm going to drop in my light blue color, my cloud blue, maybe a little white on top of that, right up top on the top edge of my table. Then I'll use this guy here. This is my light cerulean blue to get that gradient from like a 1 to maybe a light 3. And then I'll use these two to drop that in on top of a little bit of it and really burnish that up. Okay, so you'll see me start to work here, and then at the end we'll come back and we'll just recap what we've learned. All right, so here is my final worksheet, and this is a good example of what I am looking for from you. You can take a look at the rubric as well, and on the rubric you're going to see that I am looking for you to exhibit your understanding of shading, blending, and burnishing. I'm not testing you on your color choices just yet. Since we are looking at a black and white image, I'm looking for you to translate your understanding of value and value scales and the colors that you choose over here. You do not have to choose orange or blue for this. Here's one done just in blue. I'm looking for you to burnish. So if you look at both of these, they are both burnished. I'm probably going to do a little bit more here. You can see they've achieved a little bit more burnishing in this one, which I like. But if you take a look at this one's not done yet, right? Interesting color choices here with the aquas and the peacock blue, right? But this one is not yet burnished. And that's what I'm really looking for you to do. All right, I'll have these available for us in the classroom. This one exactly right here for you to take a look at if you want to see it up close and personal. If you want to rewind and take a look at any of that. But again, I am looking for you to burnish everything in this box here. All right, I'm excited to see what colors you choose and how this goes. Remember, I'm here to help, and I will see you next time.